With a self-imposed deadline on Congress looming this week to agree on a new federal stimulus bill, it was unclear Thursday just how close lawmakers might be from closing the oceans of difference between their opposing proposals. Negotiations were continuing into the night as local leaders followed the developments closely. There is much at stake in Los Angeles County, where hundreds of thousands of people remain jobless and businesses have been hit hard by an economic slowdown. The initial CARES Act passed in March delivered $1.22 billion to LA County, which paid for $656 million in public health measures, $200 million in rent relief, food and childcare, $160 million in grants to support small businesses, and $150 million to support the county's essential workers. Anxious high-profile CARES Act beneficiaries awaiting word on the future include LAX, the LA Unified School District, the Port of LA and scores of others. Thousands of businesses across Southern California that benefited from the Paycheck Protection Program will likely need another round to stay afloat. In Pasadena alone, 4,000 business and nonprofits received forgivable loans from the federal government to retain workers on the payroll. Among them were prominent organizations such as Tournament of Roses, Wetzel's Pretzels, Pasadena Humane Society and All Saints Church. In Long Beach, the CARES Act poured $360 million in forgivable loans into businesses, saving more than 41,000 jobs. The Aquarium of the Pacific collected roughly $3.5 million, helping to preserve about 60% of its employees, which stood at 202 people. For restaurants, such as Berlin Bistro, a $100,000 infusion has meant staying in business rather than shutting down. On the table as part of a new stimulus bill that lawmakers in Congress have been debating for weeks are unemployment benefits, an extension of the Paycheck Protection Program, and whether to continue an eviction moratorium set to expire soon, among other details. The impacts would be big in L County, where roughly 350,000 people received jobless benefits in June, amounting to $1.1 billion in assistance, down slightly from May, according to the California Employment Development Department. For county government itself, the pandemic has spelled trouble. Chief Executive Officer Sachi Hamai last week said economic slowdowns could force 650 layoffs beginning in October, on top of 3,000 people who have already been terminated. Hamai said the county needed roughly $1 billion to plug losses due to the coronavirus, in addition to the $1.22 billion from the CARES Act. "We urgently need federal stimulus funding to enable us to backfill these lost revenues and preserve jobs and programs that are so vital to serving the public," Hamai said Thursday in a statement. So what exactly do L County residents stand to lose or gain if Congress does not reach a deal? For one thing, enhanced unemployment benefits.